While Psalm 65 described what God does for the earth, Psalm 66 calls the earth to respond. The psalm carries no superscription naming a specific author, but its voice is confident, its call is wide, and its theology is deep. Make a joyful noise unto God, all ye lands. Psalm 66, verse 1. The command goes out to all lands, not to Israel alone. Every nation and every people group receives this summons. The phrase translated, joyful noise, means a shout of triumph. The sound an army makes when a battle turns. It is the roar of a people who know their God has acted. The command does not ask the nations to feel joyful first and then shout. It commands the shout. Worship often precedes feeling. The nations are summoned to declare God's greatness before they understand it, because God's greatness does not depend on human comprehension to be real. This command points forward. Paul quotes from this in Romans 15, verse 11, when he builds his case for the gospel reaching all nations. The call to all lands is not a poetic flourish. It is a theological statement about the God who owns every piece of ground on which every nation stands. Sing forth the honor of his name. Make his praise glorious. Psalm 66, verse 2. The shout of verse 1 now becomes a song. Singing carries the honor of God's name to places a shout cannot reach. The name of God represents his character and his acts in history. To sing forth the honor of his name is to rehearse who he is before an audience that needs to hear it. David does not say to make the praise adequate. He commands the people to make it glorious. The praise should match the one being praised. Glorious praise for a glorious God. Half-hearted worship misrepresents God's character. Say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy works! Through the greatness of thy power shall thine enemies submit themselves unto thee. Psalm 66, verse 3. The congregation now speaks to God. The word terrible carries the sense of awe-inspiring, producing holy fear in those who witness God's acts. God's works in creation, in history, in judgment, and in redemption all qualify. The nations are not invited to admire God from a comfortable distance. They are called to address him and declare what his works produce in those who see them. The second half of the verse describes God's enemies submitting. The word translated submit carries the idea of obedience under compulsion. This is not willing worship, but forced acknowledgement. God's enemies will bow, not because they chose to, but because his power leaves no alternative. Paul references this in Philippians 2, verse 10 to 11, where every knee bows and every tongue confesses, whether in genuine faith or compelled surrender. Both responses confirm the same truth. God's power is absolute. All the earth shall worship thee, and shall sing unto thee. They shall sing to thy name. Selah. Psalm 66, verse 4. All the earth worships, and all the earth sings. The singing is directed to God's name, returning to the theme of verse 2. God's name carries the significance of everything he has revealed about himself. Singing to his name means singing to his character, his faithfulness, his power, and his mercy. The psalm pauses here with Selah, a musical marker calling the congregation to stop and absorb what has just been declared.